Alright, I think we should be live. I think everything should be mostly good to go. Then, yeah, let's get to it. Alrighty, so first I think we just want to narrow down what exactly it is we're dealing with, and then also we need to figure out how the fuck does this season mechanic even work in the first place. And that is simply because of the fact that, yeah, I'll show you my decks in a second, but I can already tell you that they are destroyed. So for those of you that were here for the FEI release day, right? You know how we had a save data that had 105,000 power? Yeah. This is what happened to the 105k power deck. It is now 70,000. So apparently somehow adding 5 duplicates of a sample collection would add 30,200 points of save data value to this deck. So yeah, that begs the question of how the fuck does this system work, and did Mr. G-Clef just misspeak in regards to us being able to put in 3 cards? Did he mean you are able to level them up 3 times? Or is there really a way for us to get a multitude of these in terms of levels? And yo, Dampy, VCSM, Emiran, Lord Blowpop, Jinxie, and everybody else who already said hi, what's up, what's up? And yeah, let's continue first, right? Let's continue putting them all out in a nice to look at manner, I'd like to say, so that we know what kind of factions we're dealing with, what they can do. So I think we can probably fit like, come on, maybe 3 of them at the top, and then like 2 at the bottom. I think that would probably look pretty good. Let's do it like this. There we go. Yeah, I think that's fine. Now we just need to do the exact same thing for the other factions, and then yeah, we should be good to go. It's mainly just so I can get a bit more of like an overview, right, of what we even have to deal with the entirety of this season mechanic. So inquiry, then it goes, no, it probably goes control into inquiry, and then it be claim. So let's move this up there. We need to get the inquiry final reward, which should be this one. And then we need the 5 cards, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shit, I did get the level 3 versions. Ah, okay. Beep, bop, bop, boom, 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 bam, 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 boom. And then we can once again make them a little smaller. Okay. Yep, and now we just need the last thing, and then we're basically done with setting this stuff up, and we can focus on what really matters, and that is the cards and the stuff themselves. Whoops, wrong page. Okay, there we get claim, and then we have, for whatever reason, the claim effect, which is morale, because, yeah, why wouldn't it? And then we need the claim cards, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make him a little smaller. And then 1, 2, 3. It might not look the prettiest, but it gets the job done. Okay, perfect. We finally have all 3 factions properly set up. Yo, Yubu, what's up? What's up? Rosmark, welcome, welcome. Hello, fellow oxygen breathers. Wow, you're including a lot of people with this. The desire cards that give you a card draw when doing X are the only ones that really stand out. The inquiry ones are the only ones that really stand out to me alongside the plus damage. Yeah, they changed the wording of unique card to signature cards, yeah. Can I get a quick unit recommendation for the full-scale offensive? Okay, sure. Let me not close this though. So quick unit recommendation for who you should play in this type, in this rerun of full-scale offensive. Okay, let's do it. So for the first one, anything that's justice and passion is gonna work well, and anything with expensive cards. So you can play Tenebria, you can play Rita, you can play Haru. I think those are like the main three. Tenebria, Rita, Haru are the main three that you can use here. Especially because you see when a pulverized card is used, fixed damage and shield. You can also use Maribel if you wanted to. So it really, yeah, I guess it kind of goes Maribel, Tenebria, Rita, Haru. Those would be the four main ones for the first boss. For Colossus, because it's Passion and Void, it's either Tenebria or Shizuru. I think Tenebria or Shizuru are the ones that fulfill this the best, and that is because you want to activate a bunch of basic cards, and basic cards are getting buffed, and it's Passion and Void. So yeah, but kind of between. Oh, Mei Lin. Let's not forget about Mei Lin, right? So you can go Tenebria, Mei Lin, or Shizuru, depending on who you have built or who you want to build. And then for Beginning of Desire, the final guy. You can obviously go with FEI, right? You can obviously go with FEI, but you can also go with Luke. You could also, let's see, 0 cost Void, FEI. Those would be the main ones. I think those three would be the main ones here. Then again, remember, you don't really have to try and take advantage of this Void and Order card bonus. So you can always just go ahead and play something like a Serenial again, right? You can always play something like a Serenial again, or anything else that comes to mind, but those would be the big three. Tenebria absolutely shreds Colossus. He didn't even get an attack in. Ouch. Do any of these bosses have elasticity? I mean, I'd play basic attack Shizuru against this Colossus, right? Yeah, they do have elasticity, so yeah. Hey, thank you for your awesome. Appreciate it, we appreciate it. Thank you, you're awesome. Oh, no problem, no problem. You use Naja and Rin for the desire. Oh, 7 Mei Lin then. No, you can just punch him. Like, look at this. You get extra points when using basics. You do more damage with basics. Your basics are free. I don't know, might as well just punch him, right? Also, you only need to get 900,000. You don't need to get over 1 million. There's no point getting over 1 million. At least nothing that really makes sense. So, okay. Let's go back to first discussing the season cards and my thoughts on them right now. To flex? Yeah, true. To flex, it might be a little bit more difficult. So, first, the control faction. What do they do? What do they bring to the table? So, first off, their +3 bonus is a little weird. I mean, when an enemy acts, they get a singular stack of agony. Well, what the hell, right? But it is an application of a debuff. You can potentially combine this with, let's say, the agony 2-piece for the multiplicative damage against targets with agony. There's obviously other interactions with something getting a harmful effect, so on and so forth, but the +3 effect is rather weak-ish. Then we get to the +5 effect, which gives you crit chance per enemy present, meaning that in most cases, when you really fight something one-on-one, you're getting 5% crit. Is that really that bad? No, but also you would have to get into a situation where you have like 2 to 3 enemies for this to really be felt, right? So once again, somehow a resurgence of AoE content, if you can believe it. But yeah, the more enemies, the more crit chance. And then we have the final one. Still, I'm not entirely too sure about this +7 bonus, like for all factions. And that is because when a control card is used, you gain a stack. Oh wait, that's the wrong fucking buff. No, it's the right buff. When a stack of control is used, you get 1 control desire for each stack. And that again means that I think it's impossible for you to get this card every single turn, which is why what I find so weird. Right? Like, in my mind, every character can have 1 level 3 desire card, and even if all of them happen to be control, playing those 3 is still only give you 9 stacks of control. Yeah, 980 base is a lot, absolutely. The 980 base, but then again also it's 3 fucking cost. But yeah, the Desire Manifestation control, definitely a behemoth. 980 at the start of the turn, and then also obviously the Scorched mechanic. Let's just get the Scorched mechanic in here. They fixed the description. So for those of you that haven't seen the updated description yet, you might be wondering, well, did anything actually change? And the answer is yes. It was kind of clear, but this is now specifically referred to as dot. It's an 80% dot damage. So we now have it even more clearly told to us that we're basically going into damage over time season, or dot season, or debuff season, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that is Scorched. Yeah. And then out of the 3 cards, Marcus Servitude is weird, right? And we'll be looking at the most powerful effect, right? You can use it one time per turn, and if you do 170 base, and should the target be in a scorched state, you do an extra attack. Yeah, I mean, sure, but if you can only ever have a card one time, then it really ain't gonna do much. Arabella would be the Scorcher, right? Probably. New stat? No, damage over time is not a new stat, but it's a stat that nobody else uses besides Tressa at the moment. How do you count how many control possessed by allies? Does it count what you have in your decks? It does count what you have in your deck. So when you level up a card, whatever you use to level it up goes into the base of this card. So if you, for example, use a control card into a control card into a control card, the card is going to be control 3. And then control 3, when you play a control 3 card, you're going to get 3 stacks of control. She could scorch you all day long. But yeah, let's have a look at these cards, right? Marcus Servitude, I mean, it's a bit of damage and then it's an extra attack. Sure. Kneel before you, or before me, I guess, is going to be vulnerable to anything that has a debuff, and then also apply a weaken and 3 scorched. Decently solid. Traitor's Execution is a bit weird. So you get a rather big, a sizable 300% base damage AoE hit, but it only does something when you actually kill something. So what this requires you to do is find a stage where there's multitude of enemies, then use this card to at least kill one of those enemies, just so another random enemy can get stacks of Scorched. I don't know. But yeah, the card art is fucking sick. Like, Indiscriminate Slaughter is probably one of my favorites. And yeah, so Indiscriminate Slaughter, right? 360%, really high single target damage, only 1 cost. But what it does is it makes it so that when you play this card, you reduce the enemy action count by 1. And then upon playing this card, you further reduce it by 3. So you actively reduce enemy action count by 4, which is strange. right? Like, why would you actively go out of your way to decrease the enemy action count faster? Obviously, it's so that you can trigger Scorched. But then again, brother, like, you can... You can reduce action count without having to actively do it with a card, right? You can just play another card. And then, yeah, Order of Dominance, you do 150% damage, and should the target be either in agony or storage state, you increase that damage by a 125 multiplier. Who would be my favorite DPS pair with Diana? I like Diana Kayron. But no, I think you should I don't know, she kind of stands on her own. You can just like put somebody else in with her and then all is just gonna be well. I don't know, she doesn't necessarily need someone. Who's going to be the 5-star dress out of the season 4 characters? Okay, let's see. Out of all these characters, who is going to be the 5-star dot unit, right? It's almost already too easy. But a very good, let me just see that I make sure, right? Like a very good contender for a, in this case, dot 5-star is obviously Arabella, right? She's passion, scorched, passion, fire. She probably applies a bunch of Scorch stacks and then somehow makes it so that these Scorch stacks actually do damage. Now, what I'm very, very curious about Scorched is, what the fuck do you do if the enemy already acted? No, but like seriously. What do you do? What do you do if the enemy already had their turn? Huh? Especially with like the amount of times it takes to like set up turns and boost the damage amounts and all that. Like, yeah, but next turn, and also look, it's max 10. I don't know. This is suspicious to me. Right? And also look at this, yeah. On effect, activation decreased by 1, and at the end of the turn you remove the effect. So... for those of you saying, hey, just wait for the next turn. Are you sure? You really think that's gonna help? You think that's gonna work? Because to my mind, in my eyes, it clearly says at the end of the turn, remove effect. Yeah, there must be something that like triggers Scorched without its trigger condition. So we only allow 1 desire card per character. See, that's what we need to figure out today. And that is because they finally fixed all the bugs and glitches with like the remove count and such going up higher. So we will know today if you really can only have 1 per character, right? Would it go beyond after the monster acting? I mean, I don't know. Like, is an action count of an enemy that's already has acted, does it still count as them getting their action count decreased? Aren't there cards that add action count? Yeah, but I don't think you can increase somebody's action count if they already acted. Right? And also, what about enemies with infinite action count? What happens with an enemy with infinite action count? We know you cannot increase their action count, but does that also mean you can't decrease their action count? But okay, so that is Scorched, right? That is Scorched and Control. I think Control at the moment is probably the least interesting out of those. Infinity -2 is still infinity, so did you actually decrease it? Getting philosophical with this one. But yeah, no, these ones are the more interesting ones, and that is first Inquiry, right? Or Inquiry, or Incurry, who knows? But Inquiry is just that, or Inquiry, whatever the fuck, is just the 3 buff, right? When you draw, you apply a random effect between weak and vulnerable or agony to random enemies at 3 times. meaning you will also actively be applying debuffs to the enemy. Obviously, weaken would go away when the enemy acts, vulnerable would go away when you hit them, and agony would go away at the end of the turn. Inquiry. But yeah, no. The 5+ one is the one I'm rather interested in, at least. And that is when a harmful effect is applied to an enemy, which you can, for example, do with the 3+ effect, you have a 30% chance to draw 1. Now, what I'm truly curious about, can you only draw? Like, can you apply enough debuffs to guarantee draw 3 times a turn? Or are you only ever getting the chance to draw 1 at 30%? 3 times a turn? Because there's a significant difference between pretty much guaranteed getting 3 draw and maybe getting 1 draw if you're lucky. So it is rather important to figure out what this 3 times per turn refers to. Does it refer to the draw or the amount of times you can RNG a draw, right? And then we have ourselves the Desire Manifestation, the big card. I mean, this card is just really solid. Huge base damage at 440. Oh, also, none of these cards are defense based. So we can pretty much assume, right, like none of these cards are defense based. So unless the Survive, which would make sense, is a defense based card, we can assume that the majority, if not all of the new characters are going to be attack based units. But yeah, it could really go Hild, Agony character, Arabella, a Scorch character, and Olga. I don't know what Olga does. Who knows? We're back to beta translations. We are the beta. But yeah. Let's have a look at the cards, right? Because these cards, they are a little stronger than the other ones. So, for example, this one right here. I mean, I think we've all seen it, right? It's a simple 1 cost draw 2 plus damage with you can go upwards of 3 increase stacks. And yeah, that's just super solid. Now, the one next to it is just 1 cost replaces itself, but it applies either a weaken, vulnerable, or agony to all enemies 3 times. Sure, I mean, if you need to apply some debuffs, right, that's fantastic. This card in the top left is 320% damage. And then per enemy defeated this turn, plus 70% damage amount for 1. So that means you can get like a 320 base plus 240% additional. No, 280% additional. Still, kind of weird. Same with Sensory Overload. Like, for 1 turn, should you draw a extra attack, but like only 3 times. And then Knowledge Addiction, for each card drawn this turn, plus 40% damage amount to the next attack card used for 1 turn, max 5. So it's just a plus 200% additional damage bonus to the next attack card used. But it's like so specific. Now, though, we have Claim. And Claim is really interesting for the 3 effect, right? If you have 3 or more Claim, should you apply a harmful effect to the enemy, you get a stack of morale. Nice, simple, effective, and useful. Like straight up. The plus 3 claim effect is just useful. You just get 2 morale. And the only thing you need to do is put a singular one of these cards into your deck. Right? Also, they have probably the strongest card out of the entire card lineup that we currently have. And that's, I think, this one. And that is, for 1 turn, should an enemy have 3 or more debuffs, you do plus 120% damage against them. So it's like the Fairy Tail book from... and also it's damage amount. Damage amount means everything and anything that hits this unit, so long as it isn't fixed damage, gets boosted. On that note, Scorched does not have the same problem as Agony, doesn't it? Let me actually check that. Tresor. Agony, yeah. So Scorch should be able to be boosted by morale. And like damage amount of target damage taken increase and whatever the fuck. So Scorched does not have the same drawbacks as Agony, because Scorch is not fixed damage. So yeah. But yeah, here. So basically what this should be is for one turn, anything you do does 120% more damage to the target so long as they have 3 debuffs. This would, for example, mean, think about it like this. A FEI is going to, let's just talk about FEI extra attacks, right? A FEI extra attack would be the extra attack that you gain from the fan card, right? The whenever you do Flame Arts, do an extra attack. That one would get 120% stronger. The Flame Arts attack itself would get 120% stronger. And if you then have the unique upgrade card, even the second hit of Flame Arts would be 120% stronger. So this one card would add 380% damage throughout 3 different hits of a FEI to a FEI. If it were to work for a FEI, yes. And that is why, do you want to know who's the character that can really benefit from this? I don't know, some of you might not like it, but ta-da! We have a character that can very much benefit from this card. And that is because Inspiration, the Inspiration damage effect, this here, can be boosted by the damage amount taken. Right? This one would get a 120% damage bonus. And even better, this one here would also get a 120% damage bonus. And then also, the cards themselves would get a 120% damage bonus. So yeah. You need 3 different harmful effect types, so it's hard. It depends, right? Like, seeing as how Agony is part of like the entire rotation here, applying Agony to an enemy is not that difficult. What the other 2 debuffs are gonna be is a little harder. Maybe something like Weaken, because Weaken is rather easy to keep on an enemy, especially after they've acted, they can't get rid of it. So it would probably be like Weaken for a plus 40, Agony for a plus 80, and then the plus 120 could obviously be Vulnerable, but Vulnerable gets consumed. So we need to think of something better. Maybe Scorched. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, let's get back to this. So I think this card definitely has potential. The plus 120% damage bonus to everything, because it's damage amount, right? Damage amount dealt, which means anything that gets boosted by morale also gets boosted by this card. But no, even then, this card is a little weird, I'd say. And that is, you do a big amount of damage, yes. And should you kill a target, great. You also get morale, woohoo. But it's based on a harmful effect possessed by the target. And it's one. I don't like defeat effects. I don't like defeat effects. No. I don't like them. And then these other ones are a little weird, right? Like, what the fuck is this? 170 base, plus 40 per harmful at maximum 4 harmful effects. And then this one here, for every harmful effect possessed by the enemy, 60%. So if they have 5 harmful effects, you get a 300% shield, and then Agony and Scorched. Yeah. And then once again, the problem with like this narcissism here is just the fact that it's limited to 2 times. Oh, and also instead of increasing your morale, it decreases the enemy morale. Uh-oh. They're gonna cook defeat effects with the upcoming AoE Rift. They probably will. It's time for Yuki to finally shine. It only took 500 seasons. But yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand the system right now. Like, we don't have any gear perks, which is already oof. It's like deadly, right? And then we can only, what? Get one of these cards, which means the maximum amount of stacks we could ever get is 9. 9 is such a weird number because that means you can, if you go for a 7 effect, you can never get another 3 effect. So that means you can at maximum get a 3 effect, a 5 effect of 1, and then a 3 of another one. And out of all of these, I think you kind of probably want to go for like a +5 inquiry for the, or inquiry for the draw. And also the random weak, like the bullshit effect application. So that you can then take advantage for it for the claim cards. And for claim, you want the +3. Because 2 morale is 2 morale. Where do you get those cards? Those cards are now available in the Chaos, in the Zero system, by creating a Season 4 effect planet. You need to look for this little symbol there. This looks like a bit like a flower or whatever. That's when you know that your planet is Season 4, or I guess pre-season planet. Inquiry 5 plus claim 3 new meta. Yeah, but I don't know, it doesn't feel strong enough. And also the reverse. The reverse could also be true. If you go for claim 5, which could at least make sense, because then you get a dot multiplier and 2 stacks of morale, what do you pair it with? Like 3 control, so that you can apply agony when a target acts? Or what do you do? Do you pair with like 3 inquiry so that you can apply weaken, vulnerable, or agony? How do you get the +7 one? You need to get... So to get the +7 one, what you need to do is you need to get in total 7 value of control throughout your entire team. And this is what we're going to test. So are you still limited to only one of these cards? Because this system would make a lot more sense. This system would make a lot more sense if the limit wasn't 1 card but 3 cards per. Because that would mean the maximum amount of stacks you could get would be 27 instead of 9. And with 27, you could at least do... Yeah, okay, 27 would be too easy, right? Because then you'd be able to do 3 +7 effects and a +5. I don't know. These devs are weird. It's not bugged anymore. Look, my deck's gone. Poof. This deck used to be 105,000 save data. It's now 70,000. So they fix it. Exactly. That's the reason why we are now testing these out. Now that the season cards are removed, right? Does the buff come for the whole team or the card holder? You meant the buff for... I mean, I think it said this unit, didn't it? Oh! Okay, there's like a 5. There's like a 5% chance that this is actually team-wide. Yeah, I would give it a 5% chance. I'm trying to build some funny Tressa Hugo claim with Agony Scorch shenanigans. Ooh. Pro, you need to see a Serenia build. I can build you one, alright? I can build you one because I can't show you the proper one right now because I don't have it built. But I can show you the best Serenia deck you can build right now. So, this is the best Serenia build you can... Obviously, it's not a Serenia. But let's fix that. Let's fix that. So, you're going to start with Serenia. You're going to cut out the basics. You are going to add in a persona. One sec. All right. So no, you've done your due diligence. You've done your duty. Which one of these is the? There you go. So you put in the discard persona. What the fuck happened there? You put in the discard persona, then you put in the double damage amount increase, and then you're going to go to homing laser, and you're going to find probably the move homing laser, and then the move homing laser, you are going to give it the... You have two choices. You either make it simple and you give it the gain 1 AP, or you make it complicated and you try to find this one. This one's a little difficult to get, but draw 1 card of this unit is kind of nasty. I mean, maybe it will probably look something like this. You do 3 of those, and then... but you know what? I think you would actually be fine. Okay, let me redo this. I just had an idea. I just had an idea that's kind of nasty. Yeah, I think this could actually work. Yeah, if you can make this deck happen, holy fucking shit. You can then use it as like an AP generator for a FEI if you really feel like it. But it would probably look something like... You can use the move, you could use the 3 glow, or you could use the... Yeah, you could use the move, you could use the 3, you could use the destroy. Where's the destroy? You could use the destroy, right? But okay, let's just go with the move one for simplicity. Move, and then you'd add 1 AP. And you'd probably duplicate that 4 times, and then at this point you're just gonna... Because you're crazy, right? Because you're crazy like that, one of them is gonna be draw a card of this unit. Or maybe even 2 of them, if you're really funky. But I think this deck is absolutely disgusting. It isn't even finished yet. So, we probably go with the instinct weakness. Not that we really need it anymore. I mean, this is just a bit more damage. Here you could kind of go for something funky like a neutral card. Where you do like draw 1. Yeah, I mean, I guess this would work if you need more draw. Or you just go with the damage bonus for homing lasers. Here we obviously want to go with the homing laser creation and on Revit creation. And then Cobalt Light. You could probably cut it, not that you would need to. Yeah, I guess any of these 2 would be fine. Probably this one. I mean, with how many homing lasers you're returning to hand and how many cards you can draw and how many you create on Ravage. Now, this would probably be one of those. Wait, do not need the weakness? It depends. Not every piece of content is automatically gonna be weak to her. Like, yes, in the tower it doesn't do anything, but if you have this version in, then you're prepared against whatever it might be. Or you could do this. You know what? Maybe this one would work in this deck better, because that means you can create even more homing lasers, and because you have the draw of this unit, or maybe even twice, you don't really mind creating more homing lasers. Yeah, like there's a I think there's a couple options for the plasma missile and for the cobalt light. Both of them are kinda cool. Or you could again do the same thing where instead of going for a copy, you could do something like this, draw 2, if you need more draw. And then who would you pair her up with in a team? You would probably do a standard Cassius, right? Like a Morale Cassius. You'd I guess team-wise or card-wise, you would go with the full house card, and then as the final character to pair with... I don't know, you could do FEI. If you're really funky like that, you might as well... you might as well just put in a FEI so you can actually use all this AP you're generating. Could I show you a Luke build that works with the Diana after I'd be done with the Serenia build? I mean, I'm not too sure why you would want... I mean, there's a loop bit that works with everyone, right? Where you, for example, boom, boom, bang. Here you can just do hit per bullet because you're going to use a bunch of bullets, or you just do hit per attack card. Doesn't really make much of a difference. Here you're probably just going to go with... That's not too shabby. Damage amount 2 bullet cards because it wouldn't just be him. Or you just... But that would just be him. So I guess this one would be kind of cool. Here you probably want the create 2 more. And then here you could do the draw 1 with 0 cost. And then just smack that in 4 times. Which is pretty simplistic. Or obviously one of them is going to be 1 cost, and then you have the space to add in a persona. Where you could do, I don't know, let's say the bullet persona. No, not the bullet cards in hand one. The one that gives you like the permanent bullet bonus. Is it this one? No. Is it you? Is it you? One of these is... There you go. This one here. And then you could potentially just increase the exhaust count. So that you can play it more times. So this could, for example, work. Or... you know, at this point you might as well just straight up go for per critical hit draw. And then just make that 0 cost. So if you like a 0 cost 2 draw card. But then you wouldn't be shooting with Luke. I don't know, if you want to play someone with Diana, just play a Renoa. Alright. So, we need to figure out how the seasoning mechanic works. We need to figure out how the damn seasoning mechanic works. What better place to do it than, obviously not in Salty, than going into a Chaos. Swimsuits are only limited to Arc City. I don't know, we'll know. We'll know more about how, when, what, and whatever, hopefully in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I really want to know it the day before. Okay, so let's get ourselves a Season 4 Swamp of Judgment Planet, because no, that's the only one that makes sense. Wait, do I have one of these already? No, it's Rippling Through the Stars, EU. Okay, so Season 4 Swamp of Judgment, Chaos Merge. This one would be okay. Because it's tier 13, it doesn't have credit merge, so it's not the worst thing. We're gonna do like a couple retries to see if we can get a 15. Because I always like my worlds to be 15, just in case that I like happen to stumble into a good divine. You never know. 13. 14, 15. Ah, but it's 70 credits gained. And it's elite. It's not a good 15. Well, shit happens. Okay, let's go into the 13. Get ourselves everything else ready. These characters should be geared. They should be fine. We're obviously not going to find ourselves a dream world. A surprise. And, okay. Let's see how the seasoning mechanic works now that they've fixed things. The fuck? Oh yeah, put that shit away. Didn't appreciate all the divines we got from this theater planet. Now it's hard, lol. The fuck you mean? You didn't appreciate them? Just upgrade the skill tree and you like. That's what you. I don't think you really need the 6% chess piece. It's not that important. Like, if you really just want to get the best gear and then do everything with Salty, be my guest. But I'm not doing that. Man, why do we still have the no save data option still here diluting the pool? True. True. But hey, don't you want to get more seasonal currency? Like, whoa. Can you imagine what you can do with all of that? Okay, let's see. What can we do here? We have 2 of these, 3, 4 of these places. Awesome. 740 HP already. Oh yes, we got a cut of 30 HP and then we got a cut of 50 HP. So we got cut down to 20% max health. But we are healing every fight, so it's nothing to worry about. Could I check a FEI deck? Yeah, sure. Give me a link or pin me in the Discord or whatever you want to do. It is so weird not searching for... Right? Like, it's so weird not searching for the perks. It just feels like something's missing. What do you mean my gear doesn't have perks anymore? But I like my RNG with my RNG. Screw currency, I want decks. Valid. Hey, come on. There we go. Imagine those divine run thingies on Season Chaos. Ew. Okay, we could get an inquiry card. That's fine. I want the crab. Thank you. We have successfully obtained the crab. You know, if we're really unlucky, then the entirety of Season 4 might just be a repeat. Ooh. That's okay. It's not really okay. At least not that okay. Whatever. But yeah, if we're really unlucky, the entirety of Season 4 might just be a repeat of... Do you remember that purple item that wanted you to get a bunch of the arena items on the entirety of your team just for it to do anything at all? It might just be too complicated. Because if you want to properly take advantage of this mechanic, you need to build... You need to build these desire cards on everyone in your team. I like silly for fun mechanics like that though. Yeah, it's fun for one time. But like... all the time? Okay, what do we have here? I'm not even sure what kind of FEI deck I'm going for. Season 4 is all Dreamwork decks? Can't be. They're all cooked, all dead, all murdered because before it even took the chance to start breathing. It was for 100% of the Season 2, you need to kill the boss with the Judgment card. True. I got this deck from some of my friends in China server. Oh, I heard something going around about like a CN extra deck, but I don't know, man. Let's have a look. What do you have for us? What kind of garbage is this, is what I would like to ask. Because I saw this, I think in like Cosmic's video, where he like tried to show off a bunch of FEI decks, and then what kind of abomination is this? No, but I think he said specifically that this deck would only really make sense if you were playing E6 FEI. No, yes, Cappy, I think it's about E6 FEI, you know? About E6 FEI and how Flame Arts does like more damage and how you can get extra hits for the spam. But like, this deck doesn't make a lick of sense because you would first have to make sure that you get some AP, but not too much and not too little, then trigger Soulfire Dance, to then draw into again more AP generation, but again not too much, not too little. I don't understand, right? Like obviously with the heart accessory, you're getting one stack, but then what? You draw this card and now it's a draw one 2 stacks of flame arts, 2 stacks of descent, which then like to draw one stack of descent, which then turns into 2 stacks of descent? I don't know. You use this deck in the offensive boss, it works, you get 1.2 million score. Yeah, but the offensive boss is, the full scale offensive boss is entirely built around FEI. Right? Near Eternal Hunger? Yeah, I mean, if you have a Near Eternal Hunger, especially if you have a duplicate copy Near Eternal Hunger, you can at any point in time, if you want to, generate the AP to then spend on this Soulfire dance. That does end up working. I mean, the good pieces are here, but what I'm really curious about is why this Soulfire dance instead of the one that makes it so there's an extra hit on triggering flame arts, especially if you have 3 different sources of ×2 × X flame arts generation. Does this really get made up by the hit count plus Infernal Rhapsody trigger, which is gonna be 7 of these? I'm not surprised this complicated deck would come from the China mathematics. It goes brrrr. If I had an E6, you'd just be doing a descent build. True, true, true. You see a vision, but you don't like the outcome. No, maybe maybe you see the outcome, but you don't like the vision. How about that? Yeah, no, but honestly, why would you be running this build? No, like, period. I don't think there's much more to this than why? Why would you run a build like that? But sure, I mean, this is just like, I don't know, maybe I'm biased to my own builds, but I like my build a lot more. I think it's also a lot simpler, both to understand and to play. Like, you just go in, you get the extra attack count, you get the flame arts count, you get a draw 3, you get a add 1 hit to flame arts, you get a descent variant, and you just smack in a persona. Also, there's no persona in that deck, no? So that's a bit weird. There should be a persona in here. I guess you could fit it in, seeing as how there are no divines on this deck. I mean, I guess this could work as well, but no, this is the deck that I built on day 1. I like my deck. I think it's clean. You use the persona with 3/1 AP divines. Yeah, that works as well. It's more for deck cycling, so you zero out the deck per turn. You don't think this deck can zero out per turn? Like, most of the time I'm in a situation where I have 9 AP to put on this Soulfire, but my deck is empty. But who knows? Who knows? Would anybody know if a Divine Spark can have common cards? Does anybody know if any Divine Spark can have a common card? What do you mean by that? Like, you can obviously have a common card that has a Divine. You can also create a card with a common epiphany to have a Divine. Also, the X plus 1 thing, it doesn't add any damage, right? But okay, what would you do with this deck? What would you do with this deck for it to make sense? You would obviously try and smack in a persona. And let's say you don't like discarding, then you're probably gonna go with... I don't know, some of the... is this the draw 2? No, then it's this one, right? So you might just go draw 2. You add in plus 60 or buy 30 and when it gets discarded or whatever the fuck. Also, draw 1 card with the cost of X, apply the X of that card as X plus 1 until used. But like, why 1? And how do you get... I mean, I guess you draw the other Soulfires with this Soulfire. I like this card though, right? It's undeniable that this Soulfire dance is incredibly strong. And the reason why you would then pick this Soulfire is obviously you can't have both. You can't have add 1 hit to flame arts and activate them. But there's no doubt about it, this is a really strong Soulfire, so long as you just get the Infernal Rhapsodies into the graveyard. And now we have what? 60 save data left? What do we do with this? How do we divine this properly? Like gain 1 AP, gain 1 AP, I don't know. What would you do to an X cost card? Draw a card of this unit? No, because this would come at the end of your turn. But on what? Just here? Are Persona cards common cards? No, Persona cards are no cards. They are neither signature nor common cards. They are just cards, interestingly enough. Like, for example, treat it as a common card can't draw you a Persona. You duped the one without unique and reroll both after dupe. See, this is why you have no idea. You cannot have 2 unique cards. Let me give you give you a simple example of a deck that's unfortunately impossible. I would have loved to build it, but yeah. Let's just make it super simple, right? This shit right here. Boom, bang. No matter what you do, this is absolutely impossible, right? Like you can't. Unfortunately, you can't do this. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, no matter what you duplicate first and what we swap after and like blah blah blah, you cannot have 2 unique cards of the same name. It just doesn't work. Who makes this website and how can they know what divines they can get so fast? Because there's rules. So for example, look at this. Draw 1 card of this unit can only appear on attack cards. Right? Draw 1 card of this unit can only appear on attack cards. If you try to do it on a skill card, you see how it says sortie. The reverse is also true. Treat it as a common card, draw a common card. Can only appear on skill cards. Right? Like there's a rule to everything. Same with how if a card has a damage multiplier, it can get increased damage amount and it can get increased tenacity. If it doesn't have a damage multiplier, it can't get them. Then you see like how this one is, for example, if a card has initiation, it can't get an initiation divine. If it has a retain, it can't get a retain divine. Right? There's just roots to these and that's why you then know which card can get what. If it counts 3x, wouldn't the draw and if its attack card give 2 morale be better than this discard 2 with plus 30 engraving since it gives you the same 120 without discard and soliloquy activated? If it count 3x, wouldn't the draw and if its attack card give 2 morale be better? You mean this one? So you just want to use you would want to use this persona. Remember, it needs to draw an attack card. It don't draw no attack card, you don't get the 2 morale, and 2 morale would be a plus 40 bonus, right? So you'd have a plus 40 with 2 by 30s versus a plus 120 with 2 by 30s. Do the X plus effect stack? I do think they should. So for example, with this item and this one, you'd apply X plus 2 to this one. If you also had, let's say, this one here that applies X plus 2, then it would in fact be X plus 2 plus X plus 1 plus X plus 1, so X plus 4. Morale on the upgrade card? You know what? That does make a bit more sense than fucking 1 morale on the X cost. It's plausible. But you can get draw 1 attack card of this unit on Veronica repos. Yeah, but that's because of special draw. So, right, like the rules again in this case are if a card already it's Veronica is just fucked. Whatever rules you're thinking about, Veronica just doesn't give a shit, and that is because she draws but from other combatants, which makes it so that she can get something that others can't. But no, draw 1 card of this unit. Wait, let me think. I don't know, I feel like draw 1 card of this unit, obviously it's exclusive to... I think it's because we were... No, it isn't because we were on the god. No, but the only thing you need to know is that it's Vitor exclusive, draw 1 cards of this unit. And I think it's attack cards only with everything I've seen. Hi, quick question from a noob. Is this season there is no dedicated Chaos World, so it's just a pain in the ass to roll the desired world plus 15? Technically it's a draw, it's a pain in the ass, but you can just refresh the planets over and over until you get a plus 15. But also remember, you only need the full 180 space if you want to fill out the entire 180 space in one run. You can also just use Divine Course later to add Divines to a deck, and for that you can just play on whatever difficulty you want, so long as you get the right base cards, because if you edit save date it always goes up to 180. Sheer must pull? No, I don't think so. Also, instead of the X AP on X cost card, why not just add a Negotiate or Quick Shelling? Nah. Nah. Do we even have the seasonal chaos yet since we're in preseason? No, we don't have the seasonal chaos. We get that in 3 weeks. I appreciate the follow, yet, man. When is the new Forster coming? I don't know. We just know that there is a new, there is a Forster they're working on. I think it's kind of like an antler bow girl. But hey, if we're lucky, we get them a season 5 with the anniversary. If not, we might just see them next year. Who the fuck knows? The only thing we know is that they are, in fact... Hey, Capillary, appreciate the follow. Who knows? Wasn't I following? I'm a fraud. You are a fraud. The greatest fraud to ever fraud. Okay. Desire or random desire card? Give me random. Awesome. Okay. Now we have a sample collection inquiry 3 and we have not increased our removal count. Great. But it doesn't really look to me, right? To me, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get more than one desire card per character, which is not that great. I'll be honest with you. I don't really see a way for us to make anything useful with only being able to get 3 cards total. What word would we be missing for a 4-star to potentially fill in? I don't know. They might just be like a dot support. Wait, didn't you remove the basic? Why is it 0 out of 5? You looked on the wrong character. FEI is 3 out of 5. I was able to get 3, just insist on the same card after leveling 3. So you are able to go to 3? Yeah, that's what we're currently testing. If they fix the bug. So let's see. So I pick a random fucking card. And I obviously insist on sample collection. Like, this is really important here. Because they did say you can get up to 3. But does that still work? Does it finally work? Did G-Clef lie from the very beginning? Also, where... I'm already on Swamper Judge. There we go. Fairy King's Crown. Awesome. I wanted to complain, right? Like, where the fuck are my cards? Hello? Divine? No? Okay. Let's keep it like this then. How's FEI? I can't pull him. My account will be ruined, LMAO. Oh, FEI is like super mega bad and you don't have to be sad at all to not be able to get her. Just look to season 4 and be a happy man and live in a happy world. No problem. What have I seen so far in the new season? I wouldn't call it the new season because we're still in the preseason, and so far I've only seen confusion. And that is because I was able to build a deck with 6 cards and it had 100k save data. But then you obviously knew that wasn't how it was meant to be. That wasn't how it was meant to work, right? Maybe these 3 are the 3 you picked to level them to 3. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Is there any season competitiveness as far? Do they just release on any? We don't know. We don't know. They probably tell us at some point, but I think we could assume that season 4 is going to be a free season. Like, we got a combatant in season 1, we didn't get 1 and 2, we got 1 and 3, we might not get 1 and 4, and then we get 1 and 5 again. So far, there's not a must-pull unit. Technically, you could consider limited units and supports a must-pull unit. But at the end of the day, none of these units in this game are must-pull, yes. Let's select the card to Epiphany! Woo! Yay! Typhara is a must-pull for you. That's what I said, right? That's what I said. Jajan. Okay, I don't even know what I'm doing. Hey, let's go! It's a weird divine. Cassius is a must-pull. I mean, he's a 4-star. I'd consider everybody being able to just get him on the side. But sure, if you want to say it like that, sure. He's a must-pull. Telnebria was as close as it gets to a must-pull for a non-limited DPS insane character. She has huge utility, she does. Mika, Cassius, Nia, and Ray have all bases covered, so nothing's really a must-pull. Okay, so you said we need to insist on, like, this thing multiple times. So, that's what I've done. Let's see what happens. Like, you could still clear the game with OG units. Oh, I saw someone who did a 4-star only, all 3... Yeah, somebody did a 4-star only, all 3 full-scale offenses, 9 stars. That was impressive. If you insist enough, you can do everything. Exactly. If you try hard enough, if you build good enough decks, you can do anything. Is it possible after August last character in season 4 they're gonna follow up with a limited character for the summer season? I don't really see a world in which we're getting a limited character in the preseason. Unless they decide to cut the idea of a preseason. Also, I'd be very curious how the fuck this works where, like, what determines the card split? Why are some of my cards now Inquiry 2 and Control 1 and how can I fix that? Can I even fix it to begin with? Okay, I want to meditate. Yeah, I want to meditate. Not for any particular reason, but just because I can. Serenial happened though? What does that mean, Serenial happened though? Serenial was the final character of season 1. Do we have confirmation for the Chaos attribute in season 4? Is it another Void Passion? It's most certainly not gonna be a Void Passion. Because that'd be pretty sad. But then again, the first character is Void and the second character is Passion. If things are really fun, then we might just see a Justice... I don't know. A Justice planet. Chaos Zero non-passion units. You know, but this is weird, right? Like, what am I doing? Am I getting more of these cards? My deck screen doesn't help. It still says I have one. But then there was one guy that said we can get multiple. So, who was lying? Was anybody lying? What map is this? This is the Swamp of Judgment basic planet with the Season 4 attribute. Chaos Zero Ranger? No. Chaos Too Many Ranger. Because there's a... Okay, to be honest, there shouldn't be a chance. But it's a probably Void unit that wields a bow. She's either gonna be a hunter or a ranger, isn't she? I mean, what else could she be? Hello? Seems Desire Card multiple copies still exist. I mean, we'll have a look. Because my decks that had multiple cards are gone. Final Desire Manifestation. Sure. Okay. So, now what? What kind of deck is this going to be? Kinda said it counts as remove. It doesn't know. See, that's the thing. There was a patch. There was a patch where they fixed it. There were 3 in your deck yesterday. Brother, then why do you tell us so confidently that you can get multiple in a deck if you didn't even check your deck today? There's a reason, right? As I said, they fixed the bug, they fixed the change, they like changed whatever the fuck, right? There was a patch earlier today where they changed decks that had multiple due to the removal bug. This season is extra tech season. What's next? Dot season, probably. The patch was, I think, 4 hours ago, if I see this correctly. It was 8 UTC, 3 hours and 15 minutes ago. So, this season is kind of fucked, no? So we can only have one of these per character, but you can at least... But then, what's the point of leveling them up anyway? Can I, like, split it between multiple cards? Even that wouldn't help, because it would just mean that this split here... doesn't matter. He did say with his chest, as if it was the truth, yeah. Next will be deck maxing. Yeah, but what deck are you meant to max? I don't really know what we're meant to do with this season mechanic. And also what's interesting is, because of the fact that you can split this up, you never have to actively pick up a card of a different faction to get its faction buff. Because you could just pick the same card and just split it like, let's say, 2 inquiry, 1 control 3 times on 3 different characters. And then you'd get the +6 effect and the +3 effect without even having to pick up a singular control card. How do you get the 7+ now? Obviously by picking up a 3, a 2 and a 2 at minimum on your entire team. This is weird. Also, what would be your guesses on this? So Desire will be 2-1 the best use of it? I don't know. I mean, if you do 2-1 all the time, then what you get is a 6-3 split, meaning you'll never be able to get a 7+ split. And for a 7+ split, you preferably want as many stacks of it as possible, so that you can stack it as many times as possible, because you need to reach 10 stacks to create like the finisher card. The problem with that is you can at maximum get 9 stacks with the way things are looking right now. So you will only ever be able to get these finisher cards every second turn, which is, yeah, kind of weird. Yeah, it's either gonna be... I don't think I could... I can't really see 3-3-3, because the 3+ effect usually is the least interesting, and the 5+... Like, the 5+ effect is kind of where it's at, and the 7 one is just too complicated. Yeah, but remember, the gear perks were already in the preseason the last time around. Yeah, the survival cards, but the survival cards is going to be another 3-5-7 effect, 5 different cards. But what could they do, right? What could they do that is all of a sudden going to magically change everything? Also, listen to the wording. Survival. Doesn't this just sound like a bunch of shields and healing? You know, doesn't this just sound like a bunch of shields, healing, maybe some fortitude? Obviously, we might just be putting in too much spirit into it, but like, control is because you get debuffs. Inquiry is because you're, I don't know, searching, because you're deck searching, you're inquiring your deck. And claim is because you're, I don't know, you're claiming damage. What do you mean? Survival isn't gain 10 morale. It might just be. Also, I think, what would be the proper wording? I think Dream World kind of ruined a couple things. Because imagine just getting 50 stacks of morale. It was kind of normal with Dream World. Now try doing it without. You would survive by killing the enemy. That could work. But all right, let me show you one of my, or I guess my 2 FEI decks that I have at the moment. Negative credits, beh. Why is it a tier 12 planet? Ah! Okay, shall we take the negative credit thing for now? So... we have... This is obviously the one we built yesterday. The one with the extra attack, the treated as a common card, the double draw 3, the double flame arts creation treated as a common card, the X cost card, the S hits the flame arts, the move card, and the persona. And then this is something I built yesterday shortly before reset, just so I can keep my autos. And that is, we have the triple Inferno Rhapsody Heaven that gives us 3 stacks of Descent. So, right, like whenever this activates, we get Descent. Then we have draw an X cost card of this unit, X plus 1, gain 1 AP. Very, very spooky. This one's one of my favorites. The activate 3 in the draw pile, 2 Descent for each. In combination with this one, where you have 2 flame arts. The next 2 times flame arts is activated, gain 2 flame arts. Which means that when you play this first, and then this one after, all 3 of your activations are going to give you 3 stacks of Descent. On top of giving you 2 stacks of Descent. Which means you're getting 15 stacks of Descent. Unfortunately, that's not that much. It's almost enough to give you 2 Heaven's Falls. But I like the idea of first getting this flame art reward, then activating them. And yeah, then for the rest we have this persona, because I thought, why the fuck not? So we have the 1 cost draw 2 with the 60% bonus. And the... obviously it could have also been the draw 1, and we hope we draw like an attack card. But no, this one's kind of cool, right? Because we're activating all 6 of them in the graveyard, meaning we are going to get an additional 6 Descent, because it's going to be 6 flame art stacks from these 6 cards. So it's another 3 Descent stacks there. And then just because I can, just because I can, we have a copy of the 50% Heaven's Fall bonus. You might be able to glean that this deck did in fact not get built through Sortie. I did all of this in a singular run. And then we have crit damage, damage amount of exhaust cards. Like, I got this perk first, damage amount of exhaust cards, which is why I thought, hey, maybe we're just gonna build a Heaven's Fall deck. And then we also have this one here, damage amount of graveyard. And this is cool. Each time a card is created, we get the damage amount. So it works. It just requires us to create 2 Heaven's Falls. And then creating 2 Heaven's Falls gives us the plus 40 damage amount bonus. We're gonna get into the instinct, we will at the end of season 4, yeah. Is it just yours? Does season 3 seem stronger than season 4? We can't judge it until we get the entire patch notes, the changes, the upgrades, the updates. But the fact that there is no gear perks right now already makes it look like it sounds dumb, but these gear perks, these 3 perks on the gear here, are stronger than anything else you can build right now with the entirety of the desire card mechanic. Dreamworld propaganda, yeah. That was surely it. Dreamworld propaganda. But no, what I want to build is a Infernal Rhapsody plus 50 damage amount deck. Like, I kind of have like half of it here, but I would have to actively change this Soulfire into the Graveyard Activation Soulfire. Yeah. You prefer the plus 50 over the extra damage. Do you know if it goes to the base? Like, obviously it depends on what kind of deck you're building, but do you know if the plus 50 goes to the base? Like, what happens? What happens to an Inferno Rhapsody when it gets a 10% multiplicative bonus? Does it go from... does it go by plus 8? Or does it go plus 15? Or I guess plus 40, 13.4, right? Because if this goes to the base, it obviously is a lot stronger. Plus 8. Yeah, then it's like you can get 2.5 morale stacks. Huh? One could think the season 3 power level was an upsie when compared to the previous seasons. Maybe they want to scale it back again. You think it's an upsie? Remember, all of a sudden, just because the skill tree wasn't there before, your mind is getting a little foggy. Because you can get 2 different God's Hammers. Kind of. Not quite, but like... God's Hammer was ridiculous enough that there might be a world in which you can justify ditching a persona to get like a crazy God's Hammer. Is there like a damage calculation somewhere, or we still don't know how the game calculates damage? The thing is, we know how the game calculates damage. We also have all the formulas. The problem is just certain effects are unclear based on the way they're worded. Now, okay, maybe they're not unclear. This obviously says 2.5 morale stacks, 2 Infernal Rhapsody cards. It's just, it's a little sad if it weren't to go to the base. Right? That's the entirety of it, right? It's just a, oh, now that'd be a little sad. But I think we can test it right now. Let me get the... Yeah, this should work. So if I take this Persona of Obsidian and I take this plus 50, and then, okay, this could be a little complicated, but it could also be super easy. How did you get past level 60? You need to play Sortie. So when you play Sortie, this game mode here, at the end of a run you get a score. This score is then getting put onto your characters. And if you play enough Sortie with the character, like for example here on FEI, you see I could then, if I get an additional 64,000 score, or I guess 66,000 score, I could level up to level 61 and then level 62. But still, compared to Dreamworld mechanics, it was an abomination. I mean, it's a singular neutral card. Remember, we haven't even seen the neutral card for... fuck. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I think I might have ripped the nail off my toe. At least that's how it feels. But okay. What I wanted to say is we haven't even seen the neutral cards of Season 4. -1 nail, indeed. Ouch. Cooked. Do you prefer the Flame Arts or Inferno build on FEI? I like my Flame Arts build because the only build I have built fully. And I'm happy with. But I want to do all of them. I want to do a Descent build. I want to do a Flame Arts build. And I will obviously do the Inferno build. But okay, we don't need to get distracted. We need to do testing. Serious, important testing. I wonder why they're doing double Chaos characters back to back. You mean Void? Yeah, we don't know what type she's gonna be. We don't know what type she's gonna be. Okay, so let's see. We have these Flame Arts now in our deck, right? And they are currently 184%. So what happens if I play the Persona? They are now 354%. How does this add up? How did that math make sense? Let's whip out our calculator and let's try to figure this shit out. Alright. So, we obviously started... Ugh, why does this look the way it does? So, we obviously started at 184%. And then we added an additional 120 on top. Brings us already to 304. Now, to get the final solution, we take the base 84%, multiplied by 1.6. No, 0.6 actually. Fuck. 84 times 0.6. And there we have 50. Okay, there we go. So it's not base damage, yeah. Man. What is my opinion on certain decisions Smygate makes? For example, why give boss elasticity instead of just only nerfing Meilin, cast the max 10 stacks, now it nerfs Luke in G02? I think that was probably intentional on their part. Because a Luke that does 50 shots or a Shizuru that has 250 stacks on her Shadow of the Moon are equally as dangerous to a Meilin that has 40 hits on her card. But yeah, so the plus 50 indeed, it just only goes to the base, right? Because we had 184 start, we added 120 flat on top, giving us 300, and then the 50 because it's a 60% multiplicative. And there you go. So rest in peace, it works exactly like I thought it would. Aww. You got a feeling that one of the characters would increase the dot stack cap? Devs have learned the hard way what happens when you don't put a cap on buff accumulation. Yeah. I mean, honestly, also thinking about it, hit counts of like around 10 seem a lot more reasonable than 50. But 50 is a lot better. Okay. You know what? Sure, let's use the website, right? Let's use the website and see if I can build my dream Inferno cast deck thing. You're ignoring Hype Mary Nuke. Yeah, the Hype Mary Nuke is just fucking stupid. Why the fuck would her additive bonus go to her base damage to then get multiple? Like, the Hype Mary Nuke reaching 200,000 plus % fucking... It's... Why? Right? Like how? Like when? Like what? Yeah. But no, this 100% extra attack damage when Flame Arts is activated, if you really focus on Flame Arts, it is pretty cool. It is pretty good. I don't know, I feel like this deck could work. Boom. Job done, deck done. Happy days. Yeah, I don't know. I think this might just be Inferno spam. They need to release the raw formula. Brother, there is the raw formula. It's just... I'm gonna show it to you and you can tell me if there's anything you think you can do with it, alright? Let me see if I have... right? Like, brother, if you think you can actually do anything with this, then have fun. So, you have final attack, final damage, and final card multiplier. So, if you really think, hey, I really want to know that you take the base multiplier plus potential additive times 1 plus potential multiplicative multiplier times generic card multiplicative multiplier plus generic additive multiplier times 1 plus elemental advantage times 1 plus vulnerability times 1 plus enemy damage reduction times 1 minus weakness multiplier plus any additional multiplicative debuffs you apply to the enemy, then hey, be my guest. But you just need to know what makes number go higher And everything else is fucking irrelevant. But if you need the fucking formulas, if you think they need to release them, there you go. Have at it, bro. If you think you can do something with them, then hey, good. Huh? Thanks, I need that, but what the fuck is that? That is damage calculation. That is exactly what that is. There's a lot of steps to it. The only thing you need to know is additive, it puts on top what you put on top, and multiplicative takes the base damage of a card and puts that on top. I just know the damage over time mechanics season 4 will likely provide more tanky characters to survive in the long run. Maybe. So, does anybody have anything else we should potentially think about adding to this Inferno Art spam? Not Inferno Art spam, Inferno Rhapsody spam. Like, you have 8 Inferno Rhapsodies that you play. Once you've played all of them, you play them again. And then once you've played them again, you play them a final time. Right? Like, does anybody have any big brain ideas, anything else that needs to go into this? Oh yeah, and the reason why this soliloquy is in here is just because so we can activate 3, which means we don't have to draw them, which we can combine with this, giving us guaranteed draw for the next 3 activations, because more draw is always more good, usually. Add the X+1 accessory. Yeah, I mean, maybe even one of these Night Range should just be the X+2, but who knows. But yeah, no, what we need at minimum is this Soulfire Dance at minimum needs to be played at a cost of 7. At a base cost of 7 is what this needs to be played so that we can activate all Inferno Rhapsodies. Otherwise, if we obviously have like an X+1 accessory, then it needs to be played at 6. And if we're going to use something like the X+2, then it only needs to be played at 4. Exhaust kind of sucks though. Wait, what? You think Blazing War Dance being an exhaust card kind of sucks? No way. But yeah, no, the way you want to use Blazing War Dance is you're just going to keep it in your deck and you're just going to keep cycling past it until you need it. But yeah, obviously there's a significant difference. Nia would be the AP gen. I don't know. I'm probably just going to use my Cassius and my Typhara because I don't want to play the tower to 135 again. Holy ads? Big ads? Mega ads? I don't know. The Twitch is doing the ads on its own. I have no idea what the Twitch is doing. Alright. Yeah, this was enlightening. I just did Cass and Mariah Mika. That works. You like Tefera, but her turns take too long. Understandably so. But yeah, no, what is up with this? What is up with this? Like, you know what I thought? I thought maybe you can justify this claim 7, but you can't even play this every turn. And also you need to have 3 AP at the end of your turn. Like, if you were actually able to get 10 claim stacks every turn, then this could be cool from the first turn moving forward. Could I use a move to exhaust cards from discard pile to hand? No, it's because it's in the exhaust pile when you play it, not the... it's in the exhaust pile when you play it, not the discard pile. Yeah... I mean, I don't know, I think this one's pretty cool. It's like, I think this card's really strong, it's just they're too hard to get. Also, why do they have a level 1 effect? Does this mean you can get them higher? Do they get even stronger? Does this card draw you like 5 cards with this unit? Also, what determines who gets this card? You know what I mean? Like, the way these effects work are, when an Inquiry card is used, you gain a stack of Inquiry per stack of Inquiry on the card you played. And should you reach 10 stacks, you create it in hand. But for who? Is it random? Because that'd be weird. No, you can't move the FEI unique back, no. Because it's in the exhaust pile when you play it. Yeah, I think it's super solid change to FEI. Like, whenever they feel like, oh, maybe FEI's not good enough, they can always just make this card non-exhaust. That's why I hate the preseason. You get half-cooked shit to play around with, it feels like. I mean, this entire season mechanic seems weird, right? No, I don't know. I think there would have been a massive outrage. If her E1 was remove exhaust from Blazing War Dance, then her E1 would have been by far, by none, and so far ahead of all the other E1s in the game, the absolute strongest E1 in the entirety of this game. Should I put some attack memory fragments to 9 or just defense, and what flat defense is desirable? You obviously want to do as much defense. You want to go flat defense, then defense percentage, and if you really have no other choice, you go attack. You wouldn't mind it. I don't have another FEI. But sure, I also wouldn't have, like, I would have liked it. Because it would have been just a free buff to her, right? So there's worse. Also, look what I did to my cards. Haha. I think I did like 20 more fashion puts and I got a double. So Night Rain, Soliloquy, and Soulfire are now fancy. You just lost a 50-50 to Tenebria and now you're gonna play the waiting game. Understandably so. If I wasn't so uninterested in getting an E1 FEI, because then I'd have to go further, then I would try my luck and see if I hit on the 50-50, because if I don't, I'm guaranteed. I just find it interesting how they're copy-pasting the top right potential node and every DPS partner has crit damage. I don't even know if it's interesting, it's just... It feels a little weird, right? Like, the moment we saw it on Diana, it was something special, right? Like, Diana is like, whoa, when a Passion Crisis card of the unit is discarded, you get crit damage? Up 4 stacks? 20 crit damage? Sheesh, that's crazy. And then after Diana, Hype Mary was like, you know what? Whatever you can do, I can do too. But you know what? I can do it 20% better. Because she can get 20% crit damage and then with the partner skill an additional 20. So she can get 40. And then you had Adelheid, who was like, yeah, you know what? I don't play these games. And her partner just gives, yeah, I guess, ally damage amount. It's obviously good for support, right? And then we had Tenebria. And Tenebria now again had the critical damage bonus. So yeah, it did go Diana crit damage, Hype Mary crit damage, Tenebria partner crit damage, FEI. We knew the FEI partner before we knew the Tenebria partner. And she had the crit damage, right? But I mean, how many of the last characters actually had the same, like, top right potential? Let's see. That is extra damage. Diana has 12% extra damage. Has 15% passion. Adelheid has 15% void. Tenebria had 15% passion, and then obviously FEI now has 15% void. But to be honest, I think it's all better than this. Because this is kind of like... Yeah. This is like 5/6 of a 2-piece attack percentage set. Because it's not final attack. Yeah, no, Tenebria's basic card proficiency is ridiculous. Like, Tenebria's basic card proficiency is ridiculous indeed. Do you think subscriber count reflects the petite bourgeoisie's false consciousness? What the fuck? A what shows a what and where and how? Instructions on handling the system refresh anomaly. Following the July update 8, where the system such as the season shop could be repeatedly refreshed for redemption. We sincerely apologize for this. The relevant investigation and handling work has now been completed. We sincerely blah blah blah. The following compensation have been sent to all players. A 5-star main character selection ticket from main characters currently available in the permanent rescue pool at the start of the open beta. Does this mean this is like a selector from everyone? That's crazy. And 1,000 crystals. Good for them. I mean, this seems like it was a pretty fucking big bug. Where systems such as the season shop could be repeatedly refreshed for redemption. Ooh. Depending on how much you abused it. Depending on how much you abused it, you're getting potentially banned. Interesting. Do we get a 5? Why would we get a free 5-star? I mean, it's not like we were able to claim multiple rewards from a season. We don't even have a season shop. For fuck's sake, we don't even have one. You know what I like and I don't think anybody really talks about is the fact that we get 350 free gems for playing our very first Season 3 Chaos in the Zero system. Is it anything super big or super crazy? No, but I think it's a nice chunk of gems just for doing nothing really. How much of a bug is that for a free 5-star? I mean, it looks like people were able to get hundreds and hundreds of summons out of the season shop. I think you have to think of it like or maybe even the dupe, the extra dupe. Think of it like this. People were able to, like, I guess, refresh the store to just clone dupe currency and summons. That's big. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about the season mechanic right now. There's nothing like super obvious that comes to mind that you should absolutely do. Like the most fun thing I can think of with this season mechanic is to put it on Yuki and then call it a day. Like there is a value to this, and that is because listen to this, okay? It's not the ramblings of a crazy man. But, okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is exactly that. But, where are you, Yuki? No, you are not Yuki. Like, this persona card obviously works on her because it boosts the damage of like Iceberg Cleave, Flash Slash, but it does not boost the damage of the inspiration effect trigger. Neither would a persona that's like discard 2 get damage amount boosted. But that also means I would have to try and get a deck like this with the season mechanic. That sounds stupidly hard to get. Also, there would be no gear perks. Then again, my gear perks are kind of shit anyway. You know, I'm tempted to at least give it a shot, you know? I am kind of tempted to at least try it and see what happens. What good to get on free 5-star rescue merit? I have Veronica already. I mean, that one is only for CN, but I mean, I guess if you're on CN, wouldn't the free rescue merit be like every single character? So I'd probably recommend like Typhara or Naja. Did the remove a dupe thing get fixed? Yes, it wasn't a feature, it was a bug, it did get fixed, and it looks like you can only get one of the desire cards per deck, which is... I don't know. It's a little tough. Can I get a world that's not negative credits, please? I did get a world that's not negative credits, but I also kind of wanted like a tier 15 world if I can. New Yuki is so insane. I mean, sure, we could take more. I'd always take more buffs, right? I don't really mind characters getting even stronger for no reason. We're running out of currency. Sad. Hey, but it's negative credits. Whatever. I don't need credits because I'm not re-rolling for special gear. I only have two save datas that qualify? Fuck. Hey, good evening. I played FEI, really like her simple and straightforward mechanics. The only flaw I find in her that I can't give her Divine Epiphany on her 7 to 8 cards. What do you think? You can give a Divine on card 7. You just can't give a Divine on card 8. But that's just the way it usually goes. Yuki is a popular meme in CN also. She has a weird cosplay on a con. Oh no. Alright, let's build the perfect Yuki deck with Season 4 mechanic. Let's see if we can even find the card. Where would the I be for it to be the morning? Or for it to be the evening? Oof, I don't know. UTC plus 5? I wish leveling your heroes past 50 was easier. The energy it takes to farm up the level units doesn't feel good. You need to play event stories. You need to play the trauma codes. Was it an Inquiry card we were looking for? No, I think it was a claim card. I know you need to be playing the major, you need to play trauma codes, and you need to play the battle missions if you haven't yet. There's a massive amount of XP in there. I have so many heroes that have stuck at 50. We've gotten a ton of hero points. True, true, true. Control. Claim. Hey, we found it! Let's go! We found this Severtize card. Awesome. I do need to be careful with my credits though. Okay, now, if everything goes well, we somehow find ourselves in a situation where we get like a Flash/Divine. If everything goes well, we find like a Flash/Divine. I don't think I want to add this card, because if I do, we level up the thing, and then we don't even get the +3 bonus, would be very sad. Battle Mission Chapter 4, Abyss, I think it's called Abyss, right? But yeah, Abyss difficulty when? Exactly, that thing's a scam. Do you know why I can't rerun a unique epiphany on a duplicate Soulfire Dance? Yeah, because you can't have 2 unique epiphanies of the same card in the same deck. Right, like, even, like, you can't have 2 unique cards of the same name. It's not about the epiphany, it's about the name. You can't have 2 of the same name. So you can only ever get 1 unique version of a card. See, it's been so long you forgot what it's called? True, true, true. Let's attack these guys. That sounds like a reasonable thing to do. Awesome. Wait, what the fuck is this pathing? We're just going down. Thank you, I'm new. I really only stuck to chaos and I really know how to optimize my game path. There's a lot to this game. Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. There is an insane amount of content, especially if you first start out. Which is also why it isn't really viable for anyone to make multiple accounts in this game. Because holy shit, the amount of effort you need to put in. Since when they've added the Abyss again? It's been a while. So we need to find a claim card, right? There we go. So we now leveled it up to claim 2 and we're gonna stick with Sever Ties. And then it's gonna be fine. You hope they add more team presets? I don't even use them. For me it was already too late. By the time they added these in my mind it was already a goner. Do I need to re-epiphany something? No, because we haven't epiphanied anything. Awesome. Yuki good on this season? I don't know. I think that might just be one of the only decks you can currently build in the preseason that could be good. Just because of the fact that it's damage amount increase. And also when we get this card, we will be able to see if it's... Oh yeah, there is a chance this thing... but then again it's Strike and Vanguard exclusive. There is a chance this card might become best in slot on Adelheid. If this for 1 turn plus 40% damage amount dealt per harmful effect possessed by the target is for the entire team, then we might just have found a really good thing to put on an Adelheid. Oh, also, you know what I just forgot? These cards are free. I forgot that these seasonal cards don't cost any save data. Huh. That is pretty cool. Doesn't really help us much, but it's pretty cool. That means we can make a 4 divine deck without having to fear much. What are you? Why the fuck are you? Why aren't you a choose divine? Scam. The new Persona Luster for an Adelheid? Exactly, and that's because it's damage amount increase, not just attack card increase, which means everything that does damage is getting boosted. Be it marks, follow-ups, extra attack triggers, something. Hey, like, regardless of what it is, damage amount works for everything. Unless it's fixed damage. Then fuck you. Why are you fixed damage anyway? There would be something to eat more faint memory in the new chaos. We'll see. But I kinda hope so. Because that would at least mean it's good. Lucas fixed damage on his upgrade cards? True. This new season mechanic seems to allow the work for the no that crazy of a reward, especially when Persona cards exist. Yep, at the moment I am still trying to figure out why this mechanic makes sense. It does look like it's mostly going to be for like dot. Whenever we figure out how we can make that work. Shit. We already missed the right epiphany on Trickery Strike. And we have negative 70% credits, so this could be a little tough. Yay! We found it. You think in the future the old chaos is gonna get a buffer? No? I don't know. The only thing you could potentially at the moment argue is that the season 1 chaos might need one. Okay, we can get an epiphany. I want the divine flash slash, right? No. If I can't get a divine flash slash, what do I want instead? 3 morale? Probably. And the 3 claim effect was on debuff apply morale boost, right? Like, I think just for like a +3, claim's really good. Can we please get a Cthulhu gun here? That'd be really cute. Aww, Cthulhu not being cute today. Come on, give me a claim card. I need the 3 claim effect. No? Okay. Hey, it's a divine, but unfortunately it's Hyde Mary. You kinda saw a bit of a reflection of the card first. Monster card. Monster, no. But remember, Monster Arena gives gems. Oh, there's the dagger. Awesome. Okay. And then here, divine. Yay! Something useful? The fuck is this shit? 1 cost, inspiration decrease cost by 2. What is this shit? What kind of useless abomination is this? That is terrible. Time to spend my Black Mash Flask cost. Yeah, but I'd have to play Salty for that to work, because I don't have any of them fuckers. Wait! I can just use the common Epiphany course! Ha! I don't even need to do... Like, this is actually super simple. I can just copy this and then use the fucking common epiphany cores. Whoa! We can actually do something useful with it and it's fucking cheap. Hey, let's go. Big moves. And we get the double hit. Nice. So we have the right freezing blade. We have the right... So we have the right freezing blade. We have the right trickery strike. We technically have a right flash slash. We obviously have the right iceberg cleave. Duh. Severe ties. We still need one more instance of a claim card. And then we need a prepare to subdue. We aren't actually looking that bad. I'm just hoping we might just find like a claim card at the end with the boss. Pretty much perfect build besides Synectis being ass. Remember, it's not about Synectis. We're just going to find the weird rare event purple ring. Right? We're just gonna get the purple ring and then all of a sudden it's like picture perfect. Now this is a little awkward. We're gonna have to re-epiphany that one. Am I still trying to make Yuki viable? What do you mean? She always was. Clearly. Ah, it could have been. It's just not the rare version. But I still think, even with this like uneven turn bullshit, it might be better than the cube. But fuck it, I'm not taking it. Okay, desire claim, and with that we finish the weird desire thing shit. Rare check it's incoming. F. True, true, true. Okay, now what? We can't get any better gear, so we need to re-epiphany this one into something useful. Oh, it's the inspiration one. Not gonna say no to that. Okay. And we found the copy event. Whew! I forgot that we still had to get that one. Okay, and then we can copy the divine because it's select. And now we just have to hope that the final copy event doesn't screw with us. Like, I know I could pay. Oh, okay, you know what? This might be... But then I'd have to re-epiphany with the core. Okay, we could cut Iceberg Cleave and just put it back in as an unowned card. That's probably a smart idea. So we're gonna cut Iceberg Cleave and hope that makes it so that we can copy the divine version. I don't think we need any of those. But I'm just gonna for fun swap it out again. Yay! Okay, come on. Yes! Okay, awesome! Awesome, we are actually getting somewhere. That was a very successful auto run, all things considered. Like, seeing as how there are no gear perks and shit available to us anyway, ain't like it could have gone much better. So, but that means I still need to use a... No, I can use a common core and then a divine core to fix the other shit. Yeah. Okay. Let's try and see. I don't have any resources. I mean, let's check my salty bank account. We are certified broke. So, what do I have lying around? We have 2 common epiphanies and 4 divine epiphanies. Let's just get Iceberg Cleave back real quick. Awesome. Now we're going to... Oh, we're going to need so many common cores, aren't we? Is what I would say if I was a peasant. But look. It's gonna be morale 3. We're just gonna pretend it's morale 3 and move on to the next one. Ah, fuck. Shielding Yuki has been successfully acquired. Well. I should have used the common core on the basic one, because now I can't even interact with it. Shit. Okay, what better thing to do than to mutate this save data? Let's go! Fucking bullshit. What's my opinion on FEI? Is she mid? She's not mid. She's a good unit, but she's not a must pull. Yep. Now we need to figure out how can we give shields to Yuki. Once we figured that out, we are closer to solving the riddle of how this deck is good. The fuck is this deck, man? Gain 3 resolve. Gain 3 resolve. Decreased 1 cost, decreased cost by 2, and then non-epiphany. Okay. You know what's crazy? Where do we get the debuffs from? Now that's what I'm really curious about. Seeing as how when a harmful effect is applied to the enemy, 1 morale for 1 turn 2 times per turn. Where do I get the debuffs from? I do have 1 debuff to think that I can think of off the top of my head that can work alongside a Yuki, but that requires me to build a new deck, and that is this. 100% damage amount taken by the target for 1 turn. Signature card on Adelheid. So that's good, maybe. Vulnerable from a common epiphany or flash slash. Ew. But like the vulnerable, it doesn't last. We need it to last. Agony. Yeah. 3 increase deck on a draw character. So that means we need to build an Adelheid, huh? We need to build a... What? 3 Inquiry Adelheid so that we have Agony application? So this is what we're gonna do, huh? We're gonna pick up... But it could also just... Okay, applying Weaken would be kinda cool. Applying Agony would be fine. Applying Vulnerable would be kinda ass. And on target acts apply Agony is a little too specific. So yeah, maybe that would be the idea. Putting a level 3 increase sample collection on an Adelheid. I think the season cards are useless in the preseason and are only here now as a way of a preview. I don't know. The cards themselves, they really don't seem good. But yeah. If only we could get more than just a singular card per deck. Like, this is seriously the only card I think actually is kinda cool. Persona preseason was the same, just a preview? That's not true, there were gear effects. In the preseason... in the season 3 preview, there was gear engravings. Yes, it was only at the waypoints, but it was there. Can't believe they reset your Typhara 6 draw 2. Same. They did the same to my FEI deck. Criminals. You mean I should put a Apply at the start of the turn 2 agony to the enemies. Common epiphany onto freezing blade? The fuck? Only 2 engravings though. I mean 2 is better than 0, right? Obviously it's not about building a good deck, but we have 75% of the card foundation. And with how the cards work at the moment, right? Like what we have is kind of how the season interacts at the moment. With the last preseason, we were able to see how the Persona cards work and the fact that you can upgrade the Persona cards further. What we have here is these cards being able to be leveled up. And that's it, right? You're able to level them up to 3 so that you can kind of split the inquiry, control, whatever the fuck stacks. But you can only have 1 card and you only have 3 characters. So the highest you could ever realistically get is 9. There's a Sacred Divine that would give 2 marks per turn. It's a debuff. Resonance, huh? Applying resonance to the enemy and then just not discarding. Yeah, we could build like a season 3 Adelheid that has the resonance on attacked and apply weaken on action count decrease or some shit like that. All you wanted to do was draw 1 billion cards. That's too much to ask for. Maybe. Maybe it is. But what I like is that at least we have competition for this Persona to some degree. Because this one would be 150 damage amount to attack cards. Whereas, for example, the Severed Ties is 120 damage amount to everything. The same is true for this right here. This is also just for attack cards and not for character actions. Would Deathbrand work as well? Deathbrand, Shockwave, Scorch, Scourge, any debuffs work. Like anything that's red. Even, I think even this stupid, what the fuck was it? Time slow morale. Even negative morale on the enemy would work as a debuff. But no, not the partner archive cards. Here, even something like... Let's see if I can find it. Hey! When drawing through an ability, 1 resonance to all enemies. Woo! Shit, let's go. But no. I feel like I remembered something else. Was it a Persona that had this weird effect? Or was it an effect on a Persona card? This like weird thing where when you decrease the enemy action count, you then increase something somehow super slow, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean. I don't know. I don't even remember the name of it, because I don't think anybody actually used it. Whatever. Action slow. Exactly, action slow. Action slow should also be a debuff, or maybe it's a buff. I have no idea. Oh, also, a debuff could be something like this as well. Here. Passion weakness. Or instinct weakness. Or any weakness. It would also be a debuff. There's a lot of debuffs. I don't think you need that much agony. The controller here 3 action slow. Exactly. It's all about my E6 Chiron, right? Look at this. We have found the best unit for the next season. Debuff E6 Kayron. Because you can spam a whole bunch of vulnerable, weakened, and even injured. I still don't know what injured does exactly. Because nobody else does it and nobody actually has an E6 Kayron. Yes, Death Brand is also a debuff. Death Band? Band. Kayron content hype, let's go. But no, no, this... Oh! Shizuru! Not that it's like relevant at all, but Shizuru's Cursed Jackets is also a debuff. Cursed Jackets is also a debuff. Let's go. Injured equals enemy under 50% HP. What? You beg me to E6 my Kayron? Mm-hmm. Am I going to make a video about the story change? Maybe. But I'd have to like take the time to, you know, watch these like full story reworks and things. I mean, we're gonna have a look at some of these and see if there's anything mega interesting. Entering new season, but the bug with explosions of motion cards hasn't been fixed yet. Which one? What bug with the explosion of emotions? Tenebria or FEI? I guess Tenebria. But I like FEI. Man, this Yuki's now on my mind. So one of the new CC missions was to create a video in a new story formatting. That is definitely something. No. You just use the event and the summary here. When navigating to the story, you can view a summary of the chapter's content. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. And then surely that's how it works. I don't know. Wouldn't Cassius be able to inflict negative morale and weaken? Yeah, but the negative morale is only for one turn and only when he ults. No, what I'm thinking of is we need a reliable way to apply at least 3 debuffs somehow so that this card can do what I want it to do. Yeah. You know, all that effort for 6 morale stacks of damage amount increase. But, I mean, 6 is a lot. And also, what I really like is the Claim 3 effect. When a harmful effect is applied, 1 morale for 1 turn, 2 times per turn. It's just straight up 2 morale. Here you get a plus 120. So this means this card alone, on its own, is... I don't know if this buff is team-wide yet, but it is basically, especially for Yuki, a 160% damage amount bonus, which is cool. What about a Lucas? He has a bunch of status effects bullets. Is this actually Lucas's comeback? I mean, I always thought these were kind of shit. Like, why is there so many different bullets that do so many things that don't matter? If the target has a shield, more damage. 1 weaken, 1 impair. Impair is a cool effect. And this should also stay on a lot of enemies rather long. Action and count increase unfortunately doesn't count, but one, yeah, I mean, he's a good one. 1 agony, 1 impair, 1 weaken. Not too shabby. Yeah, but the problem is the defeat effect. You need to use this to kill something. And it doesn't do anything should you don't... Like, the problem also is specifically this card. needs to be the one you use to kill something. Here. When an enemy is defeated, activate the effect. It's not like you can just keep it in your hand, kill an enemy, and all of a sudden you get it. And also the problem is it's for one turn. If this was permanent morale, then obviously you can talk about it. But like by the time you defeat an enemy, usually your turn tends to be kind of over. Who was the white lady? Is she going to be a playable character? I don't know if she's going to be a playable character, but she does play a role in the story. We don't know anything more about the lady on the golden throne with the white hair and the red streak. Have I done full scale? Not yet. But I know how I can do full scale and get 900k on everything. I mean, Judas is an easy boss. This guy is a bastard, but he's easy to take on with basic attack cards. And this guy is a bit of a bastard, but you just need to draw or use zero cost cards, preferably Order and Void if you really want to succeed. Yeah, it's a rather simple and quite a few options full scale. This card is a definition of a card that just screams win more. It's all mine. I really like the design. Also, do you think I'm delusional in thinking that like this guy and this guy, they look eerily similar to this dude? like this dude, or maybe this thing, even though this one's obviously a lot more tentacled and whatnot. Or maybe even this lady here. Maybe they're all from season 1. It's so sad that this card is stuck. It's so sad. Forced Learning Apparatus is such a cool card. 20 cost, 1 draw. Pretty reliable to trigger. You don't even have to draw it. You can just play 4 cards and boom, another draw. It's crazy, huh? How the entirety of season 1 just boils down to this fucker. And then technically maybe like a confiscate. But also, man, I kind of miss Portrait of Fury into confiscation. You know? I kind of miss doing a Portrait of Fury into a confiscation. You're glad Eternal Hunger made a resurgence last Rift? I mean, I kind of felt like Eternal Hunger made a resurgence at the beginning of Season 3. Because Nia became popular, and Nia goes hand in hand with Eternal Hunger. Because, why not? This card is also, again, just like... Man, all of these cards that are like exhaust and don't give a permanent effect, they just feel sad-ish. Not if you're playing Sortie. If you're like playing Sortie, these cards are actually kind of awesome. But not if you're not playing Sortie. You lost the 50-50 to Hugo. I think I won't pull for FEI and wait for the next season. Sure. Absolutely. E3 Hugo is huge. That's just a lack of safe data content problem. I mean, what do you think? What should they give us? An event where you only have a single turn to do damage? Making it so that cards that give a buff but only for 1 turn are actually like really viable? Yeah, Season 1 MVP was just Nia after everyone discovered Eternal Hunger. Attunement cards are cool. Because you can just discard them and draw them as many times as you want to get an effect. And having both draw and AP on a singular card is just... tough. Surely the corruption mode and the breakdown stages will be challenging. I mean, obviously they should be, but it's mostly going to be stress that fucks you over. So I don't really think you want to bring cards that only last for 1 turn either. Do you think I can use a Cassius in a team with a Haru and a Mika for buff/draw? Yeah, absolutely. They have to bump the S4 card quality and hope the preseason will be the testing ground suitable for the improvement. I mean, yeah, the thing is though, I kind of thought maybe today we're gonna get a bit more information or maybe like a glimpse of what should make sense, because I don't really see the vision yet, right? I don't really see the vision yet for what this is meant to be or how it is meant to look. Like, if you could, for example, somehow guarantee playing the Desire Manifestation claim every single turn, that would be 5 morale, starting from your first turn where you play it. And 750, 980 or 440% base damage are obviously nothing to be underestimated. But it's just, like, I don't know. I don't like the way that you can only get 9 stacks and you need 7 or more to... You need 7 or more to trigger this, which means you can't get a +3 from something else. And also you'll never be able to get it every turn. Yeah. I mean, technically, I guess you get it every turn for 9 turns, and then you don't get it for 1 turn. And then you get it every turn for 9 turns. Because technically, you build up 9 stacks, and then in the next turn, you build up your 10th, get the card, build up 8. So then the turn after, you then build up 7, build up 6, so on and so forth. I guess that could work out. Maybe it's not as bad, only getting 9 stacks. It just means that your first turn won't give you the card, but your next 9 turns will. Unless the desire stacks disappear after you end your turn, and then it's a complete horror. But they shouldn't. You would guarantee Hilt being an AP generator and a DOT support AP generator. That would be kind of nutty. Okay, now if we really think about it like this. If we think about it like this and we just assume you're gonna pick up 9 of a faction, and then every turn past the very first, you're gonna be able to get the payoff card. Does this change anything? Does this make one of these factions like viable? So this one here would be Agony application, crit chance per enemy present, and then a big hit that applies Scorched, which would be a debuff. This one here would be 2 morale, dot multiplier, but for that you'd need to get dots in the first place. And then when a claim... Oh yeah, that's something I like as well. Look at that. Obviously besides Agony, but nothing stops this buff from applying to Scorched, for example. But yeah, so here... So here you would get 2 morale, 20% multiplicative to dot, and you would get a card that allows you to get 5 morale? I mean, 7 morale every turn while having to pick up 3 different claim cards? It's not the worst thing ever. What kind of claim cards would you pick? Obviously the damage buff claim on a fighter or a vanguard if you can. The coordinated attack one is just kind of weird because it can only trigger twice. Oh! That's a debuff, isn't it? For 1 turn, when an attack card of another combatant is used, 110% coordinated attack, decrease morale of the target of the coordinated attack. So long as the target doesn't have any morale stacks, you are applying a debuff in negative morale. So this narcissism itself could help you trigger the +3 effect of claim. Man, if Gastronomicon weapon wasn't banned, it'd be crazy 3 agony every time the 2 cost card is used. Yeah, I don't know if it'd be that crazy. E6 Cassius? E6 Cassius isn't E6 Cassius positive fortitude and positive morale for you? No, wait. Ego manifestation. Oh no, whenever you complete a quest, you do morale reduction. Oh no wonder I was taking a little less. Yeah, I completely forgot about that shit as well. Yeah, Cassius just the goat. Applying negative morale to enemies on quest completion. He's just chill like that. His final potential gives you morale and fortitude, and it reduces the enemy negative morale. Yeah. So yeah, just the Cassius on his own already gives us a debuff, which means for our Yuki, we are actually almost finished. Cassius just gives us negative morale to the enemy, which counts as a debuff. Adelheid can give us the damage amount taken by of the target by 100%. Oh, what about this book? Now all of a sudden this book looks really good, doesn't it? We would get 2 weaken and 100% damage amount taken. So 2 debuffs. And then we'd be done, right? Cassius negative morale plus 2 weaken plus 100% damage amount taken. Wait, I already have that. Yeah, but you can't use the agony weapon in season 4. So... Damn, I already have the deck. I already got the deck. Sheesh. Okay, Hey, that means if I get a couple more divine cores, I can instantly play the Yuki deck to see how it works. Okay, but back to the point. Back to the point. If you had to run 3 different Sever Ties cards, one of the 3 different claim cards, one of them is just going to be a level 3 Sever Ties. But what are you going to use for the other 2? Obsession is, I guess, at least cheap to play. Maybe you just go with double narcissism. Because, I don't know. Do you think this shit stacks? Do you think this would stack? But it should like stack turn-wise, right? Then it would be like for 2 turns, plus 40% damage amount for each type of harmful effect possessed by the enemy or something. Would a death... Yeah, obviously, Death Brand Persona would also work. Imagine if we could get a plus 80, but it is also max 120. Huh. We don't really have that many claim cards. So if I wanted to get a claim 9, I would have to build a Adelheid with maybe another Sever Ties. And then a Cassius with a Narcissism? Maybe? But that means I need to build a new Cassius. That would mean I need to build a new Cassius. And I need to build a new Adelheid. Just for my Yuki claim deck to work. That seems like a lot of effort. That does seem like a lot of effort, doesn't it? Man, I want to apply some divines, but I can't because this thing is unepiphanied. Okay, I'm gonna do something insane here. Insane as in insanely stupid.
私の力が必要なのですね。
Okay, I can't leave yet. Let me quickly pick my fates. And then you're going to have to do it all over again when the extra season comes out. I don't know, we'll see. And what do I get? Do I get anything? Yay, 360 cores! Choo! So I traded in 30 stamina for 360 cores, just so I can buy a colorless core. Hey, so every 60 stamina I can buy a colorless core. That's such a good trade. Such a good trade. Okay, random epiphany. Damage reduction? The fuck is this garbage? Oh well, at least we're going to get a cost reduction really soon. Too vulnerable? No. Cost reduction. Easy. Okay, now we just need like 1 million common cores and then we're done. Yeah. Okay. For the sake of my sanity, how many different versions of common epiphanies are there for a Yuki? Basically, I want to kill my sanity. Because we need to do this for 4 cards. So, let's see. I want a... Oh! There's only 4 different ones. That's not too bad. I'm waiting if they'll do a roadmap for the next quarter. I hope so as well. I hope we get... Okay, when did the season start? It was like the 28th or the 29th, right? The last season. So... If we go now down to the YouTubes and we head over to the CZN channel, the hour-long video, when did they publish that? Also, I think it's such a wasted potential. They should show off the like characters and such, like the promotional material they showed off at AX. They did like 1 screenshot, which is what a waste. Yeah, they should just like release the HD images of that shit. Also, if anybody doesn't want to get spoiled right now, look away. We're about to see the Hilt animation. I know it's a short blimp, but that's an interesting angle. I think we might just have to zoom in and enhance to figure out what they are clearly talking about here. But no. This is I think maybe the main reason why we know what kind of weapon she wields. Cause duh, right? So uh-huh. Oh, okay. What the fuck? Interesting. There's definitely a lot of motion in this one. But alright, so what was this? I wanted to check for the hour-long video. The anniversary showcase was on the 18th, which means that was 9 days or 8 days before the start of the season. I think. Which means, yeah, if we're lucky, we get like in 1.5 weeks the full, yeah, the full version. Goodness gracious, her back. Yes, yes, yes. And it's probably gonna be looking a lot better. Huh? But okay. I know what I need to do. I need to get more common cores. So if there's a 1 in 4, I get it right, and I need to do it 4 times. Then I need around like 16 cores. 16 cores at 650 each, so it's cost like 10,000. What happened to purification protocol? Same with the corruption feature. Like the corruption system and purification protocol is something that will arrive soon. Trademark. It will arrive at some point. We'll see when that is, when that happens. Please remutate for your sanity. I can't. I already used all 10 of my cores. Some to show off how the feature used on stream, some to show off how the feature used on the video, and some just because I can. I don't have any cores. No mutations available. Wah. What can you do? Oh, do I need like a divine or something on this FEI deck? Also, I don't even know. Okay, you know what? Maybe we should first test if this deck even works. I think that's a good idea. Ah, but it's not the discard shit, is it? Okay, then I need to do a different set. I think there was a character that... Also, we're not really relying on extra damage. Maybe it was Rin. Maybe Rin is holding onto all my pieces. I think she might actually be. Shout out Rin. The world's most advanced gear holding system. Okay, what the fuck is this shit? Something ain't right, I can feel it. I guess we go +3 here. Alright. 118757 on 220. Yeah, they said it was complicated. It would break the game, or like, I don't know, something would die. Alright, let's see how this pans out. Let's see if this deck can do anything. Is there a difference between a 70k deck and a 55k deck? Is there damage difference or anything significant? If the save data score is 55 versus 70k, it might just be that you're, for example, missing divines. It might be that you're missing epiphanies, or it might even be that you're missing gear in a certain slot. Like, it all just comes down to what is the actual difference between the gear pieces. Or between the... Yeah, between whatever the fuck, right? Like, what exactly is the difference here? Have you used Paper Secret yet? It's pretty crazy. I don't know if it's pretty crazy. It kind of feels like it's the same that we're used to. It's just follow-ups on attacks. Right? It's the same as if you were to use them with the Hyde Mary. It's kind of the same as if you were to use them with a... with like a Luke or whatever else it ends up being. I don't know. I really don't think my horizons are gonna be expanded. But what I do realize is I might just want to go out of my way to find another the fuck am I? What do I want to say? Find the X cost draw the draw X cost skill card with Descent and Flame Art stacks, because we might not have enough draw in this deck to actually make sense. Alright, let's see. So we're doing this, the standard way, the normal way, getting things done. Oh, yeah, this is gonna be useful. So, we're first, yeah, so this is actually gonna be a turn, if you can believe it. But also we're on turn 5 in wave 2, that's not good. That is not good at all, for those of you curious. Also, our stack count is wrong. This shouldn't have triggered these things. It was kind of meant to be these ones triggering it, so that we get more Descent stacks, but well. Quick question, is the Blade creation deck better for an E2 Hyde Mary because the follow-up deck doesn't trigger her E2? Oh, the follow-up attack, the follow-up attack deck, I guess, still triggers it at the end of the day. Because it's just about manually using or discarding link cards, which I think you still end up doing regardless. But no, I don't think it really makes much of a difference. It depends on who you want to run her with a teammate. Right? Like, you'd only play the follow-up team if you have like a good or well-built Selena or Hugo. Yeah, I don't know. I think we might just need a bigger draw soliloquy for this to actually flow. Was it kind of obvious? Yeah. But apparently not obvious enough. But yeah, no, I really like my Flame Arts extra attack deck. I think that one just works exactly the way you'd expect it to. Yeah, this just doesn't really do much. Or maybe it does, and I'm just underestimating it for no reason. It doesn't really. Yeah, I guess the conclusion you could come to is just, duh, it is rather important for a FEI to have a bunch of draw in her deck, because you need to draw through 6 to 8 extra cards. Okay, at some point we should be able to again escape. Oh no, not like this. We should be able to again escape the cost reduction trap. There we go, we made it. Ah, shit. Okay, if I really wanted to play this optimally, I need to do it a bit different. Then again, is it that important for these things to actually trigger their stack count condition? So this should still have the streak active, which is great. Yeah, and then we can just continue. Okay, we triggered the stack count, triggered the stack count, trigger the stack count, get a bunch of descent thingies, draw more that we could have done before. Don't have actually anything to draw because no X-Cost cards. Yeah, some of these epiphanies. I'd probably just need to get a couple epiphany change core thingies. But that's nice. The activation 3 here, so that we can get them out of the deck. Ooh. Oh damn. 5,600 a hit, that's not too shabby. And that is without the proper damage buffing persona with this card. Alright, let's see what we can do against this guy here. Not too confident, seeing as how we don't really have a way to like continue properly drawing. Oh, we get natural draw too, that is supremely useful. I guess activating 3 in the graveyard would work right now. Why are we on 9 stacks? The fuck? When the sense stacks... Okay. Huh. Does this always happen like this? Like, does it always wait for you to have enough hand size? That'd be very useful. But I kinda doubt that that's the way it works, somehow. And obviously this is the time we draw it. Okay, okay, then let's not do it like this. Mutation is too freaking expensive, man. Yeah, they probably need to reduce the price. It doesn't overcap. That is very useful. Alright. So, let's get rid of one of these. And one of those. I'm going to trigger one of these. So we can trigger this successfully. Which allows us to get full stacks out of all 3 of Hey, Event Horizon, that's awesome. So this allows us to draw a bit here, get this one, play this one, discard this one, upgrade this one, use this one here, get another one of these, do that, draw this, use this, draw the X cost one. It has really high base damage, huh? Like, that's maybe one of the problems with this one. It has lower base damage. Because like this one, you see it goes like to 136, this one goes 134. But this is without considering the activations. Yeah, that's the problem with X-Cost cards, right? They just eat all your AP. Also, middle card I think means we need to play another Cassius card, right? But we can't really do that. Unless we cheat. Awesome. Okay. What do I actually want to find? Okay, let's first start with this one. Okay, so unfortunately we're missing one of the personas, but outside of that, I would like to say I played this turn pretty good. For what we have working with here. Also, look at this shit. How is this only... Like, the 500% one really isn't that good, because the base damage is 100%. Yeah, I'd probably swap out the specific one. Yeah, like, the damage difference really isn't that great. It's like 400% on 3 hits. Remember, this is all just one turn. And we generated 47 descent stacks this turn. Isn't that great? Unfortunately, wasn't enough. Okay, at least we learned a little bit. Also, how did the enemy get to -8 morale? Oh yeah, because I did it. Raining access. It is indeed raining access. But we learned a bit about what kind of build I want to build with this. I'm kind of seeing what I think I'm missing. What might just be cooking our rotations a little bit. And this should now absolutely activate nothing, because there's nothing in our graveyard to activate. Sad times. Fuck him up! Meow. Whoa. It's shame it's only the next Heaven's Fall, that is true. So, let's have a look at the current deck and then talk about what I think I would change if I could just magically change it, right? Keep in mind this deck was built in an auto run, so it's not like it was perfection from the beginning. But this one I'd still keep, because hey, more descent is more descent. So I guess we're just keeping them in. So we're keeping the 6 Inferno Heaven Rhapsodies. One of these Night Rain Flame Art stack things can actually stay. I like the interactions of getting the full value of the Descent stacks. This Soulfire Dance needs to go. This unique Soulfire Dance with activation can stay. So if that one needs to go, then obviously we're swapping it out to the to this one, so that we get even more Descent, more Flame Arts, more draw. And then we can use this one first to help us draw through the deck, get more Flame Art stacks, get more Descent, and then finish off with like the activation one after. What else? The activation one is okay, I think. The ability to play this first, then activate them, then have all 3 create 3 is fine. If not, if we need more draw. This X+1 is okay, but like as a 1 copy. Otherwise, you'd probably just be better off going with the super solid draw 3. I mean, what the fuck can you do wrong if you can draw 3? So I'd probably go to draw 3, and maybe if I were to swap some like copy targets over or what else, maybe the apply the next X as an X+2 with like a gain 1 AP, which could be kind of cool because it would be 3 AP of value out of a 0 cost card. But yeah, I don't really think I'd be thinking much of the draw 2, so it maybe be between this one and this one. But I really like this one. I like the fact that it allows you to get full value out of your next 3 played Infernal Rhapsodies. Yeah, and it's kind of it. Oh yeah, the Persona. The Persona needs to go. Fuck this Persona, honestly. Fuck this Persona. This needs to go. This needs to be the plus 120 by 60. I don't like it. It draws, yes, but the 60% multiplicative on a... What's the base? On a 120% base is just kind of insulting. At least it's a 3-hitter. Yeah, so change these out to get more draw. Maybe even get like it treated as a common card for more draw. So yeah, get more draw in the soliloquies. Keep the unique duplicated Soulfire. Get another X cost Soulfire. The Night Rain's fine. Persona's sad. And that works. So what Persona? Discard 2. I just go with the discard 2 Persona. Discard 2 plus 60 by 60. Because this also means if you discard them, you have enough draw in your deck to just get them back after you've discarded them. So yeah. You could also go with the draw 1 Persona though. Like if you're really fancy, you could go with the draw 1 2 stacks of morale, but you do have to hope you draw an attack card, because if you don't, then You think she doesn't need a Persona. Why would you waste a humongous amount of damage? What reasonable argument could there be to skip out on plus 120 additive damage and 60% multiplicative damage increase? Right? The only reason you would skip out is if you're like, oh, I don't have the AP, or oh, I don't have the draw to afford the discard. But yeah, why would you actively not want a 60% multiplicative 120 additive damage bonus? Right? What reason would there be to not do it? Alright, people. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Maybe we'll just do another stream later today. Maybe I make a video about the season mechanic. I'm not too sure. Why do less damage when you could do more damage? Exactly. If you think Persona cards are lame, I suppose, that works fine as well. The draw 2 coordinated attack? Yeah, fuck that. It's one hit. But I mean, it's not a bad card. The 3% Great Rift point boost is a good argument. Yeah, but okay, think about it like this. I like the fact that everybody argues, oh, but there's like the 3%. What happens if you only swap out one deck? If your other 5 are still of the season, you're only reducing your points by you're only losing 0.5%. Like, I find it so great that everybody brings up this argument of, oh, but what if? Yeah, but it's 0.5 per deck on 6 characters. But yeah, it is what it is. I really, really like this deck. Like, regardless of anything, I'm super happy with this one. We have the extra attacks. We have draw 3 with treated as a common card. We have another draw 3, so we have draw 6 between them. One of these draw 3s can be drawn by these night rains, which allow us to... Like, this deck is ultimate draw. And the reason why it's ultimate draw is because of the fact that this one here makes it so that your next 3 played Infernos further draw you 1. Because you'll always be at 2 stacks and then have it be the finishing stack for your next 3 Infernos. So effectively, this is also a draw 3 by technicality. And then this one here obviously has a common card, so it can help us draw this one, and this one can, for example, help us draw this one, or whatever. This one here is just a good card. Bunch of draw, bunch of flame art stacks, bunch of descent. I do like this one here, the additional hits to flame arts, especially with how often we are triggering flame arts at 3 stacks. And then, yeah, just to discard 2 persona. But yeah, I think this deck might just have a bit too much draw, because I find myself in a lot of situations where by the time I play Soulfire Dance, my deck's empty anyway. Maybe I should just get into a habit of playing it earlier. Maybe the moment I have 9 AP is my time to play it. Who knows? You cleared 150 with the kind of similar deck plus Hugo draw and Cassius? Yeah, no. Like, there's no world in which Hugo isn't good with her. It's just, I could also play her with the Selena, but I just, at the moment, I'm not interested in a follow-up deck, right? Like here I could just go, oh, when an attack card is used, do a follow-up, because she has a lot of attacks. So for example, this one here, at like your peak turn, especially if you play like the activation Soulfire, then you can get like 26 follow-ups from this high-powered scope. If you fight in the tower, you could then also get an additional 26 follow-ups from this one. I guess the only problem would be you can't get any follow-ups because it's not passion attribute cards. But it's still 2 separate instances of a follow-up. And also it makes it so that you don't really need a lot of copies of anything. Yeah. Hugo was built for Luke. Yeah, you can run this. You can run a draw Hugo with like every character in the game. What is the difference between a coordinated attack and an extra attack? Nothing, because okay, so there's a lot of things that are extra attacks, but coordinated attack is just an extra attack. If that makes sense. Like extra attacks is a lot of different things like marks, resonance, coordinated attacks, anything else labeled an extra attack. Whereas on the other hand, coordinated attack is just part of what extra attacks are. Right? You see how it says inflicts extra attack equal to 100% of attacker's damage? There was a time when coordinated attacks weren't even explained like this. Luckily, we've left those stone ages behind. Weren't the Season 4 mechanic cards bugged? Yeah, they were bugged, but now they are no longer. It's just the best thing I can come up with at the moment is a Yuki Sever Ties Claim 3 deck. How did I manage to get multiple? It's because there was a glitch. There was a glitch that allowed, or that made it so that every time you decided between a desire card and another card, it counted as a removal. And that meant the removal count went up to like 10 out of 5. And then the game realized, wait, you cannot remove 10 cards. So it gave you 5 cards back that you never possessed in the first place. Am I still playing SMB? Brother, I don't even know if SMB is still alive. Thought it died, like, around December. At least that's kind of how it felt like with what the shit they pulled, especially with like the US server and whatnot going down. Yosh. But yeah, I think one of my plans is going to be reworking this Yuki deck and then just seeing how it feels playing Sever Ties together with Cassius for the negative morale and Adelheid for the weaken plus increased damage taken debuff. And this has everything and anything to do with the fact that I already have these two units built in a way that works together with the Yuki, so I can just see what happens. Are they with the gun? And what are you gonna do about it? Super Mario Bros. Smash Brothers, exactly. So, thank you all so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. I see what I make of this. Maybe we get a video today, maybe we won't. Maybe you see a Yuki showcase with this Sever Ties card. It's surely gonna be something. And, yeah. Exactly. Alright then. Appreciate you joining in. Been a pleasure, and we see each other in the next one.